So you bought a Canon R5C in 2026 and you're wondering, how could I make this camera go from prosumer to total professional camera? These are the top accessories that you could buy in 2026 that's going to take this camera from a zero to a hero really fast. Let's talk about it. So I'm Jose Hernandez. I am a part-time videographer and full-time business owner. I love videography and filming. This is something that I do as a total passion of mine. And I now run a small production company where I do professional video shoots for people. And the Canon R5C has been my #1 go-to professional camera. So far, it has not let me down. And it has all the things that I need here in 2026. Why buy a brand new camera when you could bring an old one back to life? That could give you a ton of flexibility. And to me, it's still one of the top cameras to buy. The only problem with that is that these cameras really do need some assistance, I should say, from, things like accessories, cages, and, so on and so on. So I want to talk about a few of these things before you go out and buy them to tell you what is actually worth it and what is not. So yeah, let's talk about a few of these things. So obviously, #1, when you get a camera like this, you're gonna want to rig it. I actually bought a small rig. Actually, this is either the small rig or this is the small rig cage for it. It came with a top handle, which I believe is great for it to go with it. It's actually a good piece. It's heavy duty. I think this is something you should absolutely have, is a cage. Now, is that the first purchase I would make? I probably wouldn't. I'm going to tell you the 2 top purchases that I would make right away when I first get the camera. #1, I would definitely get an RF to EF adapter with the ND attachment on it. So Mikey actually makes one. It was not cheap. It was probably like $200 for this unit, but it does have a variable ND inside, which allows you to kind of adjust here, and it gives it that internal ND feel without having internal NDs in your Canon, which I think is actually pretty cool. And if you have the ability to, I think you actually should. So I'm filming this in my Nikon ZR right now, and they actually make an EF to Z adapter that has the same ND filter. And since I already have EF lenses, I was thinking of actually buying one of those for the Nikon. So the second accessory you should actually buy should be the new upgraded batteries, the LP E6P batteries. I would get the Canon brand only because I first started with these. I got these on Amazon. I haven't had any issues with them, but they're not as strong as the Canon ones. I actually have a couple of Canon original Canon batteries, and they're definitely better. So they go for about $50, $60. You can get a pair of these for $60. So, buyer beware. I'm not 100% on these. They're okay, but if you want to buy them, they still have better battery life than the regular LPE batteries that came with the original camera. So that would probably be my top 2 accessories that I would buy before I even bought the cage. So speaking of batteries, the very next thing that I would actually get would be V-mount battery plate. Now I have this one from Small Rig. I've had this for a long time. I actually had 2 of these before. They're great. They're foldable. I actually have my tripod mount on it just to be able to slide it on the tripod whenever I want to use it. But more importantly, I think that this gives you the ability to power your Canon R5C in an interview situation, or if you're actually filming for an extended period of time. I know I'm one of those people that I don't want to necessarily worry about my battery life, so the smaller batteries are cool if I'm on a gimbal, but if I am not on a gimbal, I'm probably going to be shooting with a V-mount plate and a V-mount battery. Small Rig makes these. Oh, by the way, I'm not sponsored for any of this stuff. This is just stuff that I bought that I personally put out, and I think it's great. They make a new one that has extended D-taps on it. I actually have this from Alvin's Cable whenever I want to not just power the camera, but I want to power the monitor, for example. I'll use something like this, and I just kind of attach it to the back here like that. and I power it up. Now, and that only works if you already have one of these and you don't want to necessarily go and buy another one. Just buy one of these cables. They're like 25 bucks. They're from Alvin's Cable, and they have the D-tap attachments. And I think this is a great buy if you are looking to power multiple things. But Small Rig is making a new plate now that has the V-mount battery plate, and it has some more D-taps on the side, which is pretty cool. Now, that's one option. I mean, I have a rigid Omnia that I could put this on. Cinebac makes one now. Well, Cinemac's made one for a couple of years, so there's a lot of different ways to rig this camera, but I think for a professional shoot, you're definitely going to want to do that. It looks impressive. It does look impressive to the customer when you walk in there and you got this whole rigged out thing. So I'm not gonna lie, it looks a whole lot different when I come in there with a bare camera rather than go in there with like a rigged out camera. Even my Nikon ZR that's small, that's on a rig right now, looks way more impressive when you have it all rigged out. So I know that shouldn't be important. The image quality and the work you do for them should be more important, but you never know. I mean, if whatever gets you paid, that's all I got to say. So moving on to the next one. This one is an important one. This is a D-tap to USB-C. This is great, especially if you want to power the camera. I don't think there's any dummy batteries that work for this camera. So if you're looking for a dummy battery with a D-tap on it, I don't think it exists. If someone out there knows if it exists, please let me know, because I would love to use that as an option. But I don't think it does. So that being said, you're kind of left over with one of these cables. Now, you can't just run a D-tap to a USB-C. Make sure you get the Alvin's cable one. I tried one that was from Amazon and it did not work. It was on the fritz, but then as soon as I got the one from Alvin's Cable, it worked out fine. Again, I'm not sponsored. I will repeat. I just got this one because it was the best solution. Now, I dug through a whole bunch of videos on YouTube in order to find this one. So if you're watching this video for the first time and you have a Canon, R5C, or thinking about buying one, I would probably pick this up pretty quickly. Another crazy thing that this camera suffers from are these micro ports. They have basically a USB-C and a micro HDMI. So what I ended up doing, obviously this is why I have the cage. I ended up buying a Small Rig micro HDMI to full HDMI cable. I actually have two of these. I actually have one of my R5C. I mean, my Nikon ZR, of course, because it makes sense because it's also got the same ports. But this allows you not to have to constantly keep plugging and unplugging from the ports. I haven't had any issues with the ports, but I also don't want any issues with the ports. I bought the camera used, and I'm just trying to make sure that I'm, being a good steward of it and making sure it lasts me a long time. This camera is still not out of date, if you ask me, in 2026. I think you could still, at 8K RAW 60, you could probably shoot with this camera for the next 10 years. I don't see anything coming in that looks so impressive that I have to upgrade yet when it comes onto this one. So another thing that I will get into is the audio with the R5C. The audio with the R5C, the internal audio recording, I guess, it's just fine. It's not 32-bit float or anything like that. But if you're actually trying to do a professional shoot, I actually ran into a situation where I needed XLR and I did not have it. So what did I do? I saved up my money and I bought a Tascam XLR 2D. I got it on eBay for $200, guys. It's like brand new. Works just fine. I think that this is an important one only if you want to work in a more professional workflow with XLR. I was doing a corporate event at a hotel, and all the audio was through, so for speeches was through XLR. And that actually created a little bit of an issue for me. I mean, I worked around it. I actually put a wireless mic on the podium, and I was able to get audio from the podium, and it did work out. And you could possibly do that, and it's fine without having to mic individual people up for speeches. But after that situation, I never want to run into a situation like that again, or another place where I just feel like I'm not bringing the proper gear. So I thought this would be a good investment. Plus, it has the ability to work on my Nikon ZR, which is good. I mean, this is the Canon one, so the hot shoe will work with the Canon, but this has like a cold shoe adapter that I could put in it and just run it on my Nikon ZR. Now they do make one for the Nikon ZR. I'm not planning on buying it. I'm only gonna bring this out whenever I think I'm gonna need XLR. So I'll probably pack this, but I'm not always gonna use it. It's big and bulky. I know there's a ton of videos out there for it, so I don't have to like mount it, but definitely, this is one of those things you should probably look in getting if you want XLR and you want a more professional way of and capturing up to 4 channels of audio. So that's actually pretty cool. Another cool thing to have is actually a good external monitor. Now, I have 3 monitors, pretty much all on the cheaper end. I got an OCG7 that I'm using right now to record this, but on my other camera to record this. But a good, definitely get a good one of these. I know you could record externally with these. I would not. I'm not going to buy an Atomos Ninja just to be able to record externally. I'm using CFast Type B, and I'll just use the Canon Light RAW, whatever, if I want to record in RAW. So what's the point to me? Unless I want to work in ProRes. So that's a good idea, but a monitor is for sure, only because, first of all, if you're rigging anything out, you're going to have to get a monitor. But with the R5C, maybe just because I'm spoiled, but I feel like this is tiny, and Canon's menus have a lot of details in them. So they're all tiny, so in a professional, again, this is more for like if you're in a professional location and you're filming, I believe that that's actually necessary just for framing and for getting an idea as to what it's going to look like, before you actually hit record. So the Canon R5C has been an amazing camera for me. I don't think that in 2026 you have to upgrade this camera. I don't even think you have to buy a Canon C50 or maybe even a C80. Most of us that are out there that are videographers and people who are creating video don't need a massive cinema camera. So what you need is what does the job at the best price point. Save the money because you're going to need a bunch of money for accessories, whether you get a Nikon ZR for $2,200, whether you get a used Canon R5C for $2,000, you're going to have to spend some money on rigging, on lenses, on all kinds of other stuff that you don't even think about. Never mind the memory that's in this damn camera that you have to pay for, which is CFast B, Express Type B, which is crazy expensive right now. So I make my own CFast Type Bs. I buy the little cases and I build them and I make them, but it still doesn't save me much money. Like a 1 terabyte right now is probably $200, so probably over $200 now that I think about it. But I make this video so that people could understand that once they buy this camera, depending on what you want to do, you have the ability to rig this thing all the way up and put it in a professional situation where you have XLR, you have a monitor and all the things you're going to need, right? Or strip it down kind of like this, and you could take your photos with it. So that is the strength of the Canon R5C. That actually booked a gig where they hired me for video, but then last minute my photographer backed out and I had to basically take photos. Now, I'm not a professional photographer. I did the best I could. They were happy with the photos. I personally looked at them and didn't really like them, but the fact that I was able to do that was able to get me the bag and get me paid, for a good payday for that day, just because I was able to do photo and video. Now, as long as the customer's happy, I'm happy. And that's it. The Canon R5C, best accessories. I'm probably missing something, but I'm sure you'll tell me if you watch this. And yeah, so I hope you like the video. If you like it, subscribe, hit like. That's always cool. Leave a comment. Let me know if there are any accessories that I missed that I should probably think about, for my future here with it. And yeah, like, shoot with what you got. But if you're looking to upgrade for something a little bit more professional, definitely look at the Canon R5C. I think it's probably still, as far as professional grade cameras, one of the best deals you could get used, hands down. You know, you could get all the professional tools in this camera that I can't get in my Nikon ZR for about the same price. So yeah, I say all that to say I'm out. Peace.